Hello, this is Steve Thoele, Principal Broker with Premier Property Group, and bringing you another weekly update on the Tigard Oregon real estate market. This update is going to cover the last 8 weeks of market activity, ending this past Sunday, September 11th. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, as I always do, and go through the info with you. So first off, looking at active listing activity. Last week I showed we had 37 new properties come on the market in Tigard, which you kind of see is a big jump from the week prior, which was pretty low, as you can kind of see over the last 8 weeks here. Ended the week with 168 homes in active status, which again is up from the week prior, and it is a high for the 8 weeks, but you can kind of see it's been in the 160s here outside of this 1 week of activity here. So it's been holding pretty steady in terms of listing. And the median price and days on market for the actives, you can kind of see, had been climbing, had a low of 630 to begin the period, got up to 667 a couple weeks back, and this last week fell back a bit to 650. And then days on market's been rising as well. That trend continues. Had a low of 18, and this last week came in at 33, up 1 day from the week prior. So homes are definitely on average staying on the market longer, and that trend continues. And moving along to pending sales. This last week, I show we had only 16 pendings this last week, which you can kind of see was a pretty big drop, like half of what it was the week prior, and is a low for the 8 weeks. And ended the week with 138 homes in pending status. And again, that's starting to kind of fall off a little bit. You can kind of see we were holding steady at right around 160, over the first part of the period, and it's started to come down a little bit from there. The median price and days on market for the pendings, you can kind of see where that's been. We were kind of right around 600,000 here for quite a good stretch of period, and this last week popped up to a high of 625. And then days on market, that's been increasing. Had a low of 10 and got up to 22. So just about 3 weeks of average market time for the homes that are getting into contract and going pending. And then lastly here, we'll take a look at sold listing activity. So as of the time I put info together, I show we had 21 homes crossover from pending to sold this last week in Tigard. And this always kind of gets adjusted upwards, typically a listing or two, but it is right now a slight low for the 8 weeks here. And I want to look back over the prior 4 weeks of activity on a rolling basis. We had 106 closings over the past 4 weeks. This past week's reading, and that matches a low for the 8 weeks here. It's been holding pretty steady here over the past 4 to 5 weeks now, but certainly down from kind of where it was earlier in the period. And the median price and days on market for the solds, that sold median price has been kind of coming down. As you can kind of see, we were at a high of 650 here to begin, and it's been dropping. We are now at 590 is the median sold price this last week. And days on market, on the other hand, has been increasing. Had a low of 5, and this last week came in at 10. And then finally, we'll look at the weeks of inventory and the sale price as a percent of the original list price. It's been, pretty steady. I mean, it had a low of 5 weeks basically, and a high of, 6.5 weeks. This last week, kind of slight high for the 8 week period here at 6.3 weeks. So, 6.5 weeks of inventory. And then the sale price as a percent of the list, you can kind of see that has been, holding relatively steady. Had a high of almost 102% here 8 weeks back. From there, it's been kind of floating right around, 100%. This last week kind of came in at 99.3. So on average, prices have been holding pretty steady, pretty firm. Inventory has been fairly consistent here over this past month. So it's been kind of steady as she goes in Tigard. Certainly kind of a moderating market, cooling market, but still I would say definitely a seller's market environment continues in Tigard. So hope the weekly update has been helpful and informative, as always. And so if so, always appreciating your likes, comments, shares that you have. If you already haven't done so and you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Really helps to grow the channel and keep you up to date on what's happening in your local real estate market. So I can be reached at 503-680-2065. Always happy to answer any questions that you might have about what's happening in the market or something in your particular situation. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And as always, I really appreciate you watching and following along, and hope you have an awesome day and week ahead. So thanks a lot.